short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why, in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We are going to annihilate their navy. We are going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with His help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Literally anything to stop those Epstein files, am I right, fellas? Israel and Donald Trump specifically just launched attacks against Iran. We just started a war. That's what just happened. As a matter of fact, it's called Operation Epic Fury. Pretty interesting, pretty crazy name. Now, I may be stupid, but I think Donald Trump has said something about no new wars. That's what he said, no new wars. what on earth just happened? Many things were promised from Donald J. Trump when he went into office. No new wars, release of the Epstein files, transparency, a lot of things, a lot of promises broken, a lot of things just going really under right now. Pretty interesting. Straight into office, he built his brand on the idea that he would be the one to finally extract America from the endless grind of Middle Eastern entanglement. That's what he did. He said that. That's what he said. That's just what I heard from the grapevine. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I got a clip.
They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
I do not make this statement lightly. The Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties.
We don't need the wars, foreign lands, countries you've never heard of, countries that don't even want us there. No, we were crazy what we did. We had these endless wars that go on for 21, 22 years, spending billions and billions of dollars.
That often happens in war, but we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission.
We have moved from rhetoric about peace to bombs and missiles and major combat operations without the typical slow build that usually precedes something this significant, without the congressional debate, without the public hearing, without any of the guardrails that are supposed to exist between campaign promises and military actions. This is so surreal and chaotic, and this is the exact scenario that democracy pundits warned about when foreign policy gets made in midnight posts instead of strategic debates across many people. This is what's going on when the most powerful military in human history can be redirected by impulse. And have you heard the name? Operation Epic Fury, Super Mega Dogma Edition. It's just called Operation Epic Fury, but that is so Call of Duty. It sounds like something out of a video game title or a muscle car advertisement. That's the official designation of a real military campaign that could define decades of global history and reshape the geopolitical landscape for generations. It is genuinely insane that this has become the label for strikes across Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, and many other Iranian cities. We are watching news footage of explosions in ancient population centers while a banner at the bottom of the screen reads something that sounds like it was workshopped in a room full of teenagers designing Call of Duty missions. That's what's happening. That's what it is. This is coordinated assault involving airstrikes across a sovereign nation, and the name itself, it feels so childish. The desire for spectacle, to prove that we're the strongest, to say that you are a peaceful president, to say you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize, and then engage and initiate in a war with Israel. With Israel, we are joint bombing a place. That's what's going on. This language, this stupid, the aesthetic of war without the reality of what war actually means is crazy. Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin and Donald J. Trump, all of these are old geriatric people. They're very old. They're all above the age of 70. They're very old. And with their age, they just want to get in a war that they probably won't live to see. We used to hear politicians talk about avoiding forever wars, about learning the lessons of Iraq and Afghanistan, about the importance of keeping the country out of endless Middle Eastern engagement, that it drains resources and lives and destroys people. But here we are, hours into a direct US-Iran conflict that's already drawing retaliation and pulling multiple nations into a dangerous crossfire that nobody voted for. Nobody debated, nobody consented to through any mechanism of democratic accountability. This is insane. This is wild. This is combat operations with a name, with doctrine, with strategic objectives that reportedly include dismantling military capabilities and punishing for regime change. That's war. That's war. War by any definition that has ever existed. We are so close to such a horrifying war. This could ignite World War III. It could. It could. It's a realistic sentence. And it sounds like hyperbole. What happens when two nuclear-capable nations begin direct military confrontation in one of the most volatile regions on Earth? Once nations start firing missiles, bombing sites, and retaliating against bases scattered across Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Iran, and beyond, the dominoes start to wobble and it's going to be hard to control. It's happening in real time right now with every news alert, bringing fresh alert reports of retaliation, of bases hit, of conflict expanding beyond the initial targets. Iran is responding as any sovereign nation would. That's what's going on. It's going to get so bad and so horrifying over the coming days. This will be some of the most terrifying situations that have happened in our nation state. I am baffled that this is even happening. But remember that promise? He said no new wars. No new wars. Peace, President Donald Trump. No new wars. I want you to remember that. I want you to remember this. It was a selling point, a campaign slogan, a core component of the identity that won the election. And now the same administration has greenlit a full-scale major operation against Iran's regime, its military infrastructure, and its defensive capabilities. That's crazy. That's insane. That's so disgusting. That's wild. That's so nasty. I need you to listen to me. Whether what side of the aisle you're on, whether it be left or right, whatever it may be, doesn't really matter to me. When I got to tell you something, it's very important. Whatever your politics, whatever you thought you knew about a peace president or foreign policy agenda built on restraint, this turn of events, this wild turn of events is going to reshape so much. This is a moment of raw honesty that I need you to be really blunt about what just happened. I know you enjoy being a bully. I know you enjoy going to war. I know you enjoy anger and hate and vitriol and rage bait and outrage. And I grasp that. I really do. I'm here with you and I grasp it. But this is very serious. Look at what just happened. It's indescribably wild that a promise of peace has mutated into an active war the same year. That the rhetorical commitment to ending wars has produced the opposite outcome with no meaningful democratic input. It's insane that epic fury is now a phrase etched into global conflict history, that future generations will learn this name alongside the other operations that define previous eras of American military intervention. And above all this stuff, despite we have the most powerful military on the planet, it's absurd how quick this moment unfolded. From rhetoric to missiles in the sky, how the distance between no new wars and Operation Epic Fury, you can't even measure it. I think humanity, all of us together, deserves better than chaos for content, better than headlines about history, better than a world where the most consequential decisions are made by people less equipped or least equipped, the least equipped people to understand the consequences of what's going to happen. This is horrifying. I am appalled by this entire situation. It's gross. I hate this.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my Laurel. Slow. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.